Welcome everyone. Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today we are unpacking a really fantastic resource called the Forex book for beginners. But listen, we aren't just going to look at this as your standard run-of-the-mill introduction to currency trading. We are going to frame this exactly as it should be seen, as a survival manual for the high-stakes, incredibly fast-paced currency markets. If you really want to understand how this market operates, this is exactly where we need to begin.
Now, right at the very beginning of the text, the authors make a pre-bold promise. Discover the secrets to successful Forex trading with our free book. You know, what's really interesting about this quote is that specific word, secrets. In the highly unpredictable world of Forex, beginners are almost always looking for some kind of magic formula, right? Like a secret indicator or a hidden chart pattern that no one else knows about. But as we break down this text today, we're going to see that the biggest secret isn't actually about predicting the future at all. It's really about learning how to survive the present.
So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We are going to start with the exciting world of Forex, move right into analyzing the currency market. Then we're going to dive deep into the shield, risk management, and finally wrap it all up with strategy and trading psychology.
Section 1. The exciting world of Forex, understanding the basics.
To kick things off, the text introduces the basic environment of currency trading. It goes over key terminologies and the global trading hours that dictate market activity. But the core mechanic of it all? Currency pairs. The Forex market literally revolves entirely around trading one currency against another. The text categorizes these into three main buckets. You've got your major pairs, your minor pairs, and your exotic pairs. To navigate this market, you have to understand how to read these currency quotes and identify exactly what type of pair you're dealing with.
Moving on to Section 2, Analyzing the Currency Market, Predicting Movements.
Once you actually know what a pair is, the source lays out the two primary approaches that traders use to make their informed decisions. On one side, we have fundamental analysis. This is all about interpreting economic indicators and news events, the real-world, tangible factors driving a currency's value. And on the flip side is technical analysis. This focuses purely on the data, specifically interpreting charts to spot trends. These are the tools you use to attack the market. But what happens when the market attacks back?
Section 3. The shield. Risk management. This is the ultimate survival tool.
Okay, we are going to execute a major tonal shift right here. I really want you to lean in for this part because this is the absolute core of our explainer today. The authors of this book make it incredibly, undeniably clear. Understanding pairs and analyzing charts is totally 100% useless if you don't have a shield. Risk management is the ultimate survival tool in trading, and we are going to spend a good chunk of our time together today breaking down exactly how this works. Because honestly, this is the beating heart of long-term success. The absolutely crucial point is this specific phrase, straight from the text: protect your capital. This isn't just a suggestion, it is a mandate. The primary goal of a beginner shouldn't be to make $1 million right out of the gate, it should be to protect the money they started with. The source material is just full of these brutal cautionary tales where a trader's total failure to protect their capital results in catastrophic, account-blowing losses. You see, market volatility to a beginner often looks like this amazing, exciting opportunity. But a single unexpected geopolitical event, or even just a breaking news headline, can swing a currency pair violently in a matter of seconds. All the fundamental and technical analysis in the world means absolutely nothing if a single bad trade wipes out your entire account. You absolutely must defend your money, and the source gives us a very specific, actionable framework for doing exactly that.
Let's look at what the text outlines as the mandatory tools for beginners. I like to think of these as the triad of survival. First up, risk-reward ratios. This is about understanding exactly how much you stand to lose versus how much you stand to gain on any given trade. Second, position sizing. This means controlling how much of your total capital is actually at risk in one specific position. The source strongly emphasizes the basic philosophy here, usually suggesting that you never ever risk more than 1 to 2% of your total account on a single trade. If you can stick to that strict discipline, a string of bad luck simply won't end your trading career. And third, and arguably most importantly, setting stop-loss orders. The book highlights these three concepts, grouped tightly together, as the absolute rock-solid foundation of risk management. You cannot effectively use one without the others, but the true anchor to all of it is the stop-loss.
The text emphasizes the stop-loss order as the ultimate tool to protect your capital. But let's unpack what that actually means in practice based on the book's teachings. A stop-loss is a predetermined automatic exit. It is quite literally the most critical mechanical action any trader can take. Why? Because the Forex market moves incredibly fast.
Picture this scenario for a second. You're in a trade, everything is looking great, and suddenly, out of nowhere, a central bank makes an unannounced interest rate change. The market just spikes wildly. If you are sitting there relying on your own manual reflexes to click the mouse and exit that losing trade, you are putting your capital at extreme risk. Think about it. Your internet might lag, you might freeze up in total disbelief. Or, as happens to so many people, you might just hold on, desperately hoping the market magically turns back around. A stop loss takes that decision entirely out of your hands in the heat of the moment. It acts as an automatic circuit breaker. When the market turns against you and hits that specific, pre-calculated price point, the stop-loss order automatically closes the trade. Boom. Done. It cuts your losses exactly where you predetermined they should be cut. Without this tool, you aren't really trading. You're just gambling without a safety net. The text makes it crystal clear, setting a stop-loss is the only way you can consistently prevent total ruin. Let's walk through a little mini narrative to see exactly how the stop-loss fits into the actual day-to-day workflow of a trade. It is not an afterthought. It has to be baked into the very beginning of your process. Let's say you have a $10,000 trading account. Step 1. You use your fundamental or technical analysis to look at the market, and you spot what looks like a really great setup. Step 2. You determine your position size. Sticking strictly to our rule, you decide you are willing to risk exactly 1% of your account, which is $100. Now, here is the critical part. Step 3. Before you ever execute the trade, before you click buy or sell, you set your stop-loss order at the exact price level that equates to that $100 loss. The text positions this as an integral, completely non-negotiable step. Listen, you do not enter the market without knowing exactly where your emergency exit is. You calculate the math practically in cold blood, and you set it before the intense emotion of an active, live trade ever has a chance to kick in.
Now, let's connect that stop-loss back to the rest of the triad. The stop-loss doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It works directly in tandem with your risk-reward ratios and your position sizing. By knowing exactly where your stop-loss is placed, you know your exact monetary risk. That allows you to calculate your position size accurately, and that, in turn, allows you to objectively measure if the potential reward is even worth the mathematical risk you're taking in the first place. The authors really want you to understand that these tools weave together to create a mathematical shield. Trading is not about winning every single time. Actually, scratch that. Losing trades are an absolute inevitability. You will lose. The entire goal of this triad is ensuring that when you do take a loss, the shield prevents it from being a fatal blow. You manage your risk, you size your positions correctly, and you rigidly, unapologetically apply your stop-loss orders so that you can simply survive to trade another day.
Moving into Section 4, Strategy and Trading Psychology, the Human Element.
In this section, the text explores some simple yet really effective trading strategies suitable for beginners. This involves identifying your entry points, knowing exactly when to get in. It involves managing the trades while they are active, and crucially, it involves setting profit targets, knowing exactly when to take your money off the table and walk away. But the source material notes something really important here. Greed often causes beginners to totally ignore their own targets, holding out for just a little bit more profit. That tendency makes the stop-loss even more vital. All of these exit strategies for profit must be permanently paired with the defensive stop-loss orders we've been discussing. You need a set target for success and a hard, unmoving stop for failure.
I want you to notice how the mechanical action directly creates a psychological benefit. The source book delves deeply into the psychological aspects of trading, specifically surrounding our emotions and our discipline, and here is exactly how they connect. The physical act of setting a stop-loss directly helps you manage your emotions. Think about the sheer emotional toll of sitting there staring at a red screen without a stop-loss in place. Your account is just bleeding out. You are paralyzed by fear, hoping and praying the market reverses, but it just keeps dropping. It's a terrifying experience, and honestly, it ruins traders mentally. Now contrast that with the peace of mind the shield provides. If you have an automatic exit in place before you ever even enter the trade, you don't have to sit there paralyzed. You already know your absolute maximum loss. It's a known quality. By utilizing these risk management tools, you literally strip the paralyzing fear out of the equation entirely. This is what allows you to maintain the discipline the book says is so incredibly vital for navigating the market calmly and rationally.
So the crucial point all of this leads to is this final mandate from the text: develop mental resilience. The book asserts that you absolutely need this resilience for long-term trading success. You have to maintain a positive, objective mindset to make good decisions. But let's be real, you simply cannot be positive if you are constantly terrified of losing all your money on the very next trade. Managing your risk, using your stop-loss without fail, strictly controlling your position size, that is exactly what allows you to develop that mental resilience. The shield protects your capital, which in turn protects your mind.
Which brings us right to our final thought. The text provides all the foundational knowledge, the analytical approaches, and the absolutely crucial risk management tools you need to survive. But ultimately, the application of all this, that's entirely up to you. So I want to leave you with this question to reflect on. Do you have the mental resilience for long-term trading success? Are you disciplined enough to always use the shield, to always set your stop loss, and to survive the exciting yet incredibly perilous Forex market? I want you to really think about that as you continue your learning journey. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you next time.